Hey guys, GHZD here, back with another video. Today is another story video for you guys. And so living in Australia, something that is always memed about and something that you always hear about is that the wildlife over here is very dangerous. And to a degree that is actually very true, but there are also some safe animals. Not every single thing wants to kill you, though a large majority of stuff wants to kill you or can have the potential to kill you. It doesn't necessarily do it, and within the urban areas, it's fine. It's more when you go out into the bush or like the rural landscapes that you're a little bit more affected. But there are some instances where the animals approach on the urban areas and you can actually be at some pretty serious risk. Like redback spiders, which are I think the equivalent of like black widows, very, very poisonous. They live in like household environments, and I've almost stood on them so many goddamn times. You get dugites, which are snakes. They're one of the most poisonous in the world, and they only live in bloody Western Australia, which is even more fucked. So I was actually at a wildlife park probably about half a year, maybe 6 months ago with my cousins when they came over. And what happened, right, was because it's a tourist attraction, this place, because we were just taking our cousins to come check it out, whatever. It's a tourist attraction, so you don't get many Aussies actually there. It's more like Europeans or maybe Asians coming over to just check out some of the wildlife in more of a safer kind of environment. But sometimes these more dangerous animals like come into the enclosures because it's basically in the middle of the bush. And so we were in this kangaroo enclosure, right? And there was like a little bit of a stall. It was like a tin shed in the middle so that the kangaroos could get some like shade and stuff instead of like trees. And it had like a feeding area. But in the corner of this shed, there was a goddamn dugite. Like, oh my god, these things are so fucking dangerous. It's not even funny. But because no one really knew, and it seemed, based on what their reactions were, like everyone else in the park, that they didn't really know how bad of a situation this actually was. So you would actually get the people there going closer to take a photo. I was going, guys, you should actually kind of back off because that's a dugite. And they weren't really listening to me. I'm not sure if they understood me or not, but they were getting closer to this goddamn snake, and I was genuinely getting a little bit scared for their lives because you can die very quickly if you get bit by one of these things. Luckily, it actually turned out that the dugite was halfway eating a dead mouse, which is like one of their main food sources. And so it was relatively safe, but that thing, if it wasn't eating, it could have lashed out and like bit one of them and killed them so quickly. Like, that's not even funny how dangerous those things are. And it was in a wildlife park. It just kind of goes to show how much at risk you can be just going to like a regular place. And you don't really know when this kind of thing can happen. Like, I went down south a few weekends ago to this place. It's like a home, one of our friends' holiday homes down there. And there was a beach that we went to. And there was actually this secluded little section that had no access point except for going down this side of this cliff and through like a huge amount of dense vegetation. There was a hell cool looking rock just casually sitting in the center of this beach, and I needed a goddamn picture of that thing, and it did turn out quite well. But anyway, so I was trying to get down to this beach, and I was having to like wade through this thick bush vegetation stuff. And yeah, there was a very high snake risk and like poisonous animal. Oh my god, it wasn't good, but it was definitely worth the shot. The only problem was when I tried to get back out, I kind of like slipped and cut myself on the rock. So it was a little bit painful, but got the job done, you know. But yeah, so it's just, you don't know when you're going to be exposed to kind of animals or insects over here. It's more safe. I don't want to scare you guys off from coming to Australia, but yeah, it can happen, and it does happen occasionally. I mean, we have a lot of anti-venom because of the poisonous animals and like the degree of incidence that people get bit. Yeah, you won't die if you're near a hospital, but there are some poisonous things out here, and it's a little bit spooky sometimes. But I guess if you live in Australia, you kind of get used to it after a while. It's pretty cool. Like, some of the animals look seriously awesome. But something that did freak me out when I was younger was I saw a video on Facebook, and it was this guy, I think in like a rural public bathroom. He lifted up the toilet seat of the bloody toilet, and there were like 3 huntsman spiders under there. Huntsman spiders aren't poisonous, if you didn't know, but they are massive and they look bloody terrifying. And to this day, I do not go to the toilet without lifting up the toilet seat just to check. But oh my god. I get paranoid very easily, I reckon, which probably isn't the best thing with me living in Australia, because I was walking up some steps and there's a bloody redback spider just casually nesting underneath one of the step ledges, and I could have stood on it, I could have touched it. It's just so weird how many times your life's put at risk without you knowing. Like, I reckon that's a pretty cool thing. Like, you never know how close you are actually to dying. Like, something, maybe you're walking along a street, and if you had like taken 4 more steps in one direction, it could have altered your future completely drastically. Like, that kind of stuff really kind of screws with my head. But yeah, you never really know how close you are to dying at some points, and I reckon that's just a cool thing. The wildlife over here is completely everywhere, more so in the bush, and it can come into the urban kind of landscapes. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting story about a bloody snake eating a mouse and almost killing some Asian tourists. But yeah, be careful, be safe, you guys. Just know your shit before you come to any place where there's a lot of dangerous animals, I'd reckon. But yeah, I hope you're having a good day. Like, comment, subscribe for more. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.